I'm a playwright. But for this platform, I am very dedicated to helping you become your best self. Now, if you are joining us for the first time, you are welcome. We do this every Friday at 12:30. It's a 1-hour program. And if you are a member of the community already, we are always grateful to you that you can make the time to join us. We don't take the fact that you make the investment of time and of data for granted. And today, I am going to give you a peep into my personal life, a peep into my past. It will disappoint my team because they had given me something to present on. I was supposed to present on grooming for lovers. But I decided that until I see my staff grooming themselves right, I'm not going to talk about grooming. Well, but that's not the reason. Sunday is Mother's Day. And because I wanted to dedicate this production to mothers, and because I wanted to celebrate mothers all across the land, and because on behalf of all children, I wanted to say thank you to all mothers and God bless you to all mothers, I decided that for today, I'm going to share with you the lessons I learned from my late mother on love, marriage, and relationship. I won't be able to share with you what she taught me on sex because that may be R-rated for this one. So today we're going to look at the lessons my mother, my late mother, shared with me. My mother was a storyteller. My mother was feisty. My mother was a fantastic woman, a resourceful woman. She and I did not get on that well because I wasn't her favorite son. But towards the end of her life, I became the pillar, her support. And so I got to hear her share a few things with me. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this by telling you a few stories. I'll tell you the story, and then I will tease some of the lessons out with you. So if you are ready, I think we can go now. 1, I'm going to tell you the story of the day my mother caught my father cheating, right in the act. My father, we grew up in Kumasi. My father lived in a part of Kumasi called Fanti New Town. Those of you who are in Ghana and in Kumasi and know Ghana, Fanti New Town is a place just across the street from the Prempeh Assembly Hall in Kumasi. That's where my father lived, but my mother and the children, me and my 4 siblings, we lived at Sassontreso. It was a journey of about 10 kilometers difference between them. Now, my mother never went to my father late at night. You know, either he comes or she goes to him. But when she has to go to him, she would have left home by 5 or latest by 6. On this day, we had gone to bed. We had gone to bed. And at about 9 p.m., my mother woke me up and said, Kobina, get ready. We are going to your father's place. 9 p.m. Now, Sassontreso, where we lived, 9 p.m. was like late, really, really late. Sassontreso died after 7. 7 p.m. at Sassontreso was late. So you can imagine 9 p.m. The trotters stop running at 7. Taxis don't come in after 7. But on this occasion, 9 p.m., my mother said, get up, let's go. So we set off. And fortunately, a taxi had just come to drop someone in the neighborhood. And so we were able to get that taxi to make the trip to Fanti New Town. We got to Fanti New Town at about 9:30 p.m., thereabout. And then my mother knocked at the door. First time there was no response. Knocked again, no response. The third time, we heard my father's voice ask, who is there? And my mother said, it is me. And there was silence. There was silence for a long time. We stood at the door, the locked door, for almost 15 minutes. No action, no sound. Then gradually I heard a little bit of movement in there. Then the door is opened. And my father was about 6'5". You know, I bear no resemblance to him in terms of stature. And he was also a retired boxer and a footballer. He combined football and boxing. So you could imagine his stature and at that height. And my father comes to stand in front of the door, blocking my mother from entering the room. Oh, by the way, I should tell you this. My mother was a fighter. My mother did not fight women. She liked to fight men and beat them. So my father had no illusion as to the kind of woman he had married. So he stood there blocking access into the room. But from behind him, we could see a woman cowering there. And then guided the woman gradually. And as the woman came to the door, my father would, as it were, keep blocking my mother. So he put his body as a barrier between my mother and this woman. And as soon as the woman could get a little way, she dashed. She would have beaten Usain Bolt that day. Dashed, and she was gone. My mother, no reaction, just went in. She had brought some food along, set a table for him, and said, oh, come and eat. Went and changed the bed sheets, put on fresh bed sheet, and then went to sleep. Just went to sleep. Now, my father was shaking. This giant of a man had been reduced to nothing. And then the next day, he wakes up very early. Oh, by the way, he had a one bedroom, bed sitter, so it was a bed sitter. He wakes up early in the morning and wakes my mother up. And this man goes on his knees before my mother and says, Amma, because that was my mother's name, Amma, I beg you, this will not happen again. And my mother said, fine, don't worry about it. And that was it. My father, to my knowledge, never cheated again. After that, he had seen the light and never strayed again. So what are the lessons from there? It is not what happens in the relationship that matters. It is how you handle it. What happened that night could have been an explosion. My mother could have screamed. My mother could have torn that woman to shreds because she had that power to do it. She could have picked a huge fight with my father. They could have thrown things at each other. The whole neighborhood could have been rewarded with the biggest soap opera ever. But she decided not to handle it that way. She handled it with patience, coolness, softness. And the reward is that she got much better results. Incidentally, that woman, the next time that woman traveled out of town and came back, she came looking for my mother and brought her a present and also promised her that this would never happen. I will never hurt you again. And they became friends from that. It is not what happens in the relationship. It is how you handle it. It is how you handle it. 2, and again, I'm teaching the lessons from my father being caught in the act. Not a very smart man. You can diffuse any threat to your relationship with patience and cool-headedness. You can diffuse any threat. There are people, I'm sure there are some of you who have seen some skirmishes around your partner. and you know somebody is interested and is making some moves, and you have gone wild on the person. Well, quite often, that wild move rather makes the issues worse. Patience helps in a relationship. It can diffuse all kinds of things. 3, women should take their intuition seriously. My mother said she was asleep. Somehow, she just woke up and felt something is wrong. Go and visit your husband. Go and visit your husband. And that's why we made that journey at that ungodly hour by South Trestle standards. So women, don't take your intuition lightly. God gave it to you for a reason, and when you feel something, try and probe and act upon it. Don't ignore it. And 4, cheating reduces your stature with your wife and with society. Whenever a man cheats, he reduces himself. He brings himself lower. Because seeing my father on his knees, begging his wife, and my father was quite a proud man, but begging his wife was quite a scene. And why has he been reduced to almost that pitiful level? Is because of cheating. In those circumstances, you suddenly realize that cheating really is not worth it. So that's the first story. The first story I've shared with you is when my mother caught my father cheating in the very act. Next, remember I told you that my mother was a very feisty woman. My mother sold fish. She was a fishmonger. She started from the Kumasi Central Market, but when the Asafo Market was built, she was one of the first generation of traders who moved into the Asafo Market, and she took to continued with the selling of fresh fish. Now, in both at Kumasi Central Market and Asafo Market, she was noted as the woman who beat men. She did not fight women. She thought women were too soft. She didn't want to waste her time with women. But the man who picks a fight with my mother is a man who hasn't heard of her. And several times, whenever she was acting up in the market, people would say, "Yeah, your husband is in trouble. Your husband, I pity your husband." Well, and this is the story. Listen, my mother was a different kind of woman with my father. Soft, submissive, understanding, patient. She never engaged in a fight with my father. Well, the fact that my father was 6 foot plus may have helped, but with my mother, it didn't matter what your size was. If there was a fight, she would pick it up with you and go at you big time. Now, but she never. At home, with my father. Well, as a case, she could be fiery. I mean, my mother striking you, slapping you was a very common thing. So with us, we knew that hot side of her. That my father never was confronted with that hot side. My mother made the choice to show her best self to my father and to be the submissive wife that she needed to be. What are the lessons there? 1, don't relate to your partner as you relate to anybody. It is unfortunate that a lot of people are nicer with strangers, they are nicer with colleagues in the office, they are nicer with people in the church than they are with their spouses. That is not the way it should be. Give your best self to your partner, your very best self. What you will not say to anybody, your husband should not be the person you say that to. Your wife should not be the person you say that to. But like I said, we've turned it all the way, the other way around. We tend to be nicer to people that we are not in a love relationship with. And then those we are in love relationship with, we tend to be flippant, offhanded, shoddy, and shabby with them. And that is not good enough. Now, let's look at lesson number 2 from my mother's attitude. What works in the office may not work at home. What works in the office? You know, there are Every career, every profession imposes a certain characteristic on you, a certain character on you. If you bring it home, there'll be trouble. I remember a conversation I had with a retired Army general. He was the chief of defense staff at one time in Ghana. And he was telling me, Ebo, I made a deliberate effort and made a conscious decision that when I get home, I'm not a soldier. So he said, as soon as the command van drops me at my door and I jump down, I tell myself, soldier time is over. Now you are father, you are husband. And I wish that a lot more people would do that. If you're a teacher, teachers tend to talk down to people and repeat what they are saying as if they are talking to a moron. When you get home, don't treat your partner like that. If you're a boss, you are used to giving commands and people obey. When you get home, no. That situation is different. Don't bring that home. You may be met with fire. 3, in a relationship, in marriage in particular, there are different roles. The man is to love and sacrifice for his wife. The wife is to be submissive to the husband. Please understand those roles and observe the roles and play your part. My mother, I know in these days it's not very politically correct and popular to talk about a submissive wife. But those who are not submissive, they have the scars to show for it. But she was submissive with her husband. 4, reserve your highest respect for your spouse. The highest respect you are capable of, reserve that for your spouse. We are reserving it for our pastors. We are reserving it for our colleagues. We are reserving it for our bosses. Then when we come home, our spouses will treat anyhowly. No, don't do that. Let your spouse get the best of you. Well, let me go on to the next story. I never saw or heard my parents exchange words or fight or disagree in front of us, the children. It never happened. In all the 15 years that I was old enough to observe them and to notice what was going on, and in all those 15 years when my father was alive, I never once heard them disagree. I never once heard them fight. There were situations where my father would take a decision that was not popular with us, and we would rise up in arms and say, no. And my mother would shout at us and say, shut up. Your father has spoken. Go away. But the next morning, the decision would have changed. Now that I'm a married man myself, I know how women change the decisions of their husbands. But my mother might have been excellent at that, because that strong man's decisions got changed several times. But we never got to know her. We never even got to know our mother did not agree with that decision the man has taken. But by the next day, it would have changed. Let's go to the lessons. 1, choose the time and place for your fights. When you're a couple, choose the time and place for your fights. Don't fight in real time. Do you understand me? Not in real time. You wait. Pick your time. Pick the time. Pick the place. And then fight. Where it will be just the two of you. Just the two of you. 2, anger has no place in marriage. Anger has no place in marriage. If you have a temper, don't bring it into your marriage. It doesn't belong there. So keep your temper hidden away. If you go into the office, you can fight everybody. But when you come home, anger has no place in a love relationship. It is useless. It doesn't achieve anything. And it compounds all kinds of situations. 3, children don't need to see that their parents are not getting on well. If your parents and your children know something is wrong, then you failed yourselves as a couple, and you failed your children as well. Your children should not see that something is wrong. As long as you are together, present to your children a united front, present your children with a safe environment. And presenting them with a safe environment is that let them know they are safe with their parents. Don't let them see how you are working out your differences. They don't need to see that. 4, patience wins every time. Oh, it pays to be patient in your relationship. Patience wins every time. The person has said something that has irritated you. Hold your tongue. Hold it. Hold it. You are in public and your partner does something that is so stupid and is so annoying. Hold it. The two of you will be alone. You'll get home. You'll get to bed. Let him sleep. Wake him up at 3:30 and then let the thing go. But what I'm going to tell you now is my most interesting story I heard from my mother. My mother told me the story of one of her colleagues in the market, another fishmonger, who one day opened up to them and told them that her marriage was struggling, that her husband was not coming home, her husband wouldn't eat her food, and she's gotten the information that a girl at Amakom was trying to steal her husband. So this other colleague of theirs said, oh, me too, I used to have that problem, but I don't have it anymore. Because there is a juju man at Kwadaso I went to see. And the drug he gave me, the medicine he gave me, and the things he performed for me, my husband is tame. My husband comes home regularly. I can set my time with the arrival of my husband, and my husband is not cheating. Now we can sit and talk and things. And then the woman said, oh, then take me to her. So, okay, let's go. So they go to Kwadaso and go and meet this juju man. He asks them, what, Amanya? And the woman goes on and rattles and talks about how she has struggled for the husband, how she had helped the husband, and how the husband now does not have time for her and won't eat her food and won't come home and is out there running in town, sleeping around and da. When she finished, the juju man said, give me a moment. He goes into his room and comes out with a bottle with a liquid in it. A bottle in a liquid in it. And then he performs, you know, they have this thing they call Bodia whisk. Does something on it, mumbles something and gives it to her and said, this is what you should do. Every evening, when you hear your husband at the gate returning from town, pour some of this liquid into your mouth and hold it in your mouth till after your husband has eaten. After that, decide whether to spit it out or to swallow it. Said, never fail to do that. As soon as you hear that your husband has arrived, before you even see him, put some of this liquid in your mouth. Don't swallow, hold it. Serve him his food and everything, and then after that, you can either drink the thing or spit it out. So the woman takes the thing away and religiously goes by it. Within a week, the man was coming home early. The man would come home, eat, and then go to bed. Then the man changed it. He will come home, eat, and now sit down and want to engage the wife in a discussion. By the end of 3 weeks, their relationship was at the highest level it had ever been. And the woman was excited that the juju has worked. It has worked. Unfortunately, on the 3rd week, she went to the bottle and realized that she was left with just the last bit she can put in her mouth. So the next morning, she writes to Kwadaso and said, Papa, you are such a powerful juju man. Eh? The juju worked like magic. My husband and I, now in local parlance, we say, now even air does not pass through us, between us. We are tight. But unfortunately, it is finished. I want a refill. And juju man rather casually said, oh, you go out into the compound. There's a tap, a standing tap there. Pour, fetch some. So the woman runs out, turns the tap on, fills the bottle, and comes back in and said, I've done that. So go with it. So, but are you not going to perform your magic and things like that on? So no. No, there was no magic in what I gave you previously. He said, no, there was magic. It worked. He said, no, it was tap water. It was tap water. He said, when you came here and you were talking, I realized it was your mouth that was killing your marriage. Your mouth was killing your marriage. Your husband comes from town, you don't know why he's late, and you start nagging him at the door. Your husband was scared to come home because he was afraid of your nagging. Your mouth was killing your relationship. So that's why I gave you water to hold in your mouth. Because I knew that you can't hold water in your mouth and quarrel at the same time. You can't hold water in your mouth and nag at the same time. So by the time your husband finishes eating without your nagging, he's in a much better shape to cope with anything you throw at him. And that is why your marriage has worked. I call that story, it's a story that I tell a few times, and I've named it the Juju Man of Kwadaso. The magic of the Juju Man of Kwadaso. Let's tease out the lessons. 1, your words can kill your relationship. Your words can kill your relationship. Watch your words. Please watch your words. Watch your words. A lot of us have relationships that seem to have changed. Relationships that are struggling. The genesis was an unfortunate word that you dropped at the wrong time. Your words are killing your relationship. Your words are killing your relationship. You know, I was telling my team on Wednesday that when you are in a relationship and there's a fight, you must be careful because your partner is looking for sound bites from you that it can use against you. Just be careful. Your words will kill your relationship if you don't have control over your emotion. 2, first things first. If your man comes from town, attend to him first. All other matters can wait till he has settled down and has refreshed himself. If your woman is upset, apologize first before you do anything else. If you are upset with your partner and your partner demands for sex, that is not the time to go and raise the issue. You give the sex first. Before we now go back and say there's an issue there, let's talk about it. First things first. And when this woman began to do first things first, welcome your partner first before you throw something at them. 3, nagging only makes a situation worse. Nagging never solves anything. Nagging only makes a situation worse. And ladies, please take note of this. The Bible says some very fascinating things about nagging. It says it is better to live in the corner of a roof than with a nagging wife. It tells you how serious and how ineffective and dangerous nagging is. And 4, when the solution is physical, the spiritual won't help you. There are a lot of people whose relationships are dying because of their behavior, because of a conduct, because of their words, because of their attitude. But they are going to pastors, they are going to juju men, looking for prayers and looking for help to heal the relationship. It doesn't work. The problem is not in the spiritual. The problem is in the physical. Your attitude, your grooming, your words, your anger, your temper, your cheating, your lying. That is what is killing that relationship. Your selfishness, your thoughtlessness. So when you go and you are praying and you are asking for people, you are praying and fasting, no, nothing would work. This woman's problem had nothing to do with the spiritual. There was no woman using juju to take her husband. It was her mouth that was gifting her husband to another person. Next, let me go to the next story from my mother. When my father was alive, my mother never permitted anyone to cook for him. She never did. No matter how busy she was. If she wasn't going to be home, she would cook the food and leave it dished out, and all that anyone has to do for my father would be warm it. But otherwise, nobody cooked for my father. And if she was around, nobody served him. She did herself. Lesson, it may not sound very important. In these days when nothing is nothing, it may not seem like it is important. Lesson 1, never take your partner for granted. Some of us began so well. We were so nice. We were so thoughtful. We were so mindful of our partner. Now we're taking it for granted. We are no longer the thoughtful people we used to be. Let's remember this. Never take your partner for granted. 2, never surrender the role you have to play in your relationship to anyone else. You are the one to cook for your husband. If you're a woman in Ghana, I'm not speaking for women outside Ghana because they are in a different realm altogether. But in Ghana, our social standards requires that. So don't surrender that to anybody. Don't leave a maidservant to become the wife to your husband. If she does the cooking and the serving, one day, she'll be invited to bed because that is the only thing that is left. So watch it. 3, the surest way into a man's heart is still through his stomach. So make sure he's gotten something nice to eat. Otherwise, you may lose that young man. And 4, create respect around your man. The way you treat your partner, let others watching be inspired to respect your partner because of your example. That's what I mean. Create respect around your partner. Now, let me go on to one of the funniest things my mother told me. And then I think I would end with that one. My mother had visited me in Accra, and I was driving her back to Kumasi. And on the way, she tells me, Ebo, there was one thing I wanted so badly, but your father never gave me. I said, really? What was it? He said, I wanted your father to beat me, but he never did. I said, what? You wanted daddy to beat you? He said, yes. I said, why? He said, well, in the market, we'll see how a man beats his wife, and then the next day, he's all caring, takes her to the hospital, and is nursing her, and said, I looked at that, and I wanted that. So, really? So I said, the thing worried me so much, is that no matter how much I provoked your father will not hit me. Then he said, one day, I asked him, you cry, what is wrong with you? Why won't you beat me? And he said, your father showed me his fist. And said, Amma, look at my fist. If I strike you with this fist, how much of you will be left? The lessons. A man has no reason to beat a woman. If you are strong, go into boxing. There's money inside. So not only would you fight, you'll get money as well. But don't stay home and beat your wife. It's a mark of a poor man. A man who is unworthy of the title. 2, women will do anything for attention, including provoking you to beat them. Women crave attention so much. So if your wife is being provocative and is being disruptive, check how much attention you've been giving to her. She is crying for attention. Beating her is not the thing. She wants you. Hug her, hold her, say something to her, talk with her. Give her quality time. 3, don't let your partner make you lower than you are. My mother wanted my father to be physically abusive, but my father was not that kind of man and did not allow himself to be provoked into becoming the kind of man he was not. And 4, lesson number 4, the images and the models we see around us have very powerful effect on us. My mother wanted a husband who is physically abusive because she has seen how men get physically abusive, and then become caring and nurturing and things like that. And she wanted that. Negative image, negative examples, but it had a very powerful effect on her. So, those are some of the things I learned from my mother on love, marriage, relationship, and I hope it's been useful to you. And I do that because I'm dedicating this whole session, today's episode, to mothers for Mother's Day. And so for all Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day. And to all the wives there, listen, your husband is not you are not a mother to your husband. So if it does not say happy Mother's Day on Sunday, don't give the man wahala. Thank God that he doesn't regard you as his mother. Because if he did, both of you will go to hell because of what you've been doing in the bedroom. But with that, thank you for staying with me. We'll take a very short break, and when we come back, I'll be ready to take your questions and discussion. Let the community come alive. Thank you very much.
Honey, I have laid the bed. Baby, Anaki, tomorrow I have a meeting. I have a business meeting tomorrow.
Sir? Oh, sweetheart. Here, take this.
Get the best-selling novels, The Deal, and Perfect Couple by Uncle WHYTE at 40 Ghana cedis each. Available at all Shell shops, selected bookshops, and total filling stations. For inquiries, call 050-554-6010 or WhatsApp 050-554-6030 for your copies.
Thought-provoking, motivational, inspirational, attitude, values, faith, soul-inspiring content, value for money. New Look, the magazine that reports on our values, attitudes, and faith for discerning people. Rover Report Monthly Magazine. Your copies from all Shell shops, Total shops, and a supermarket near you. Or call 0302-231188 for subscription.
Well, welcome back. And thank you for staying with me. Once again, to all mothers out there, on behalf of children, not on behalf of your husbands, because you are not the mother to your husband. Happy Mother's Day. God bless you for being there for us. Now today, again, in honor of Mother's Day, we have a gift for every woman who sends in a message. Right, every to the first 5 women whose comments I've read or who sent in this thing, and it is this one, something from Mr. Kitchen. It is a natural spices, right? Yeah. For that you can use, and it will be delivered to you. No, it will be delivered to you. Even if Kabute has to do it himself, it will be delivered to you. So as soon as your comment comes in, your question comes in, the first 5, you have won yourself one of these. So now let the questions start.
Our first question from Irama.
Oh, by the way, we said to the men, It's for the first 5 women. Men, you send in your comments, but it's not scoring for today. When it gets to Father's Day, we'll turn it around and it will be your time. Yeah, let's go.
From Irama. Uncle, thank you for the advices. Please, I've been in a relationship where a guy left me saying he didn't know we were still going out. So I moved on, only for the guy to keep coming around in the name of wanting us to be friends. He's not my friend because I don't want him to. He's brainwashed friends to think I'm being unforgiving. Kindly advise me. Please, am I being unforgiving?
No, write him off. Just go on with your life. Move on with your life. And if you can discourage him from coming around to mess you up, just do so.
A comment from Laurentia. Uncle, your mother was amazing. How did she have that patience?
How did she have?
That patience.
Ah, yeah. And again, and it's incredible because she wasn't a patient woman. She wasn't a patient woman. I mean, the woman who would fight men in the market, everybody knew you don't cross Antiama. You didn't, because you would not enjoy the experience. And yet with my father, she was a very different woman. Very different woman.
Nesbit says, today is my ex's birthday. She's also watching. Happy birthday, mommy.
Nesbit, you're cool. You are cool. You are cool. I still remember what you did the day we brought Val in here, but you are cool.
Francisca says, a man has no reason to beat up his wife or woman. If you are strong, go into the boxing for money.
Yes. There's money inside. Yeah, let's keep it going, please.
Sandy says, Uncle, even in abroad, it's the same culture depending on the kind of home your wife was trained.
Okay.
Some of us are homely wives, and we try to do our best.
Well done. I'm happy to hear that.
Francisca says, a woman would do anything to crave for attention. Instead of you beating her, hug her. Hug her. I love this, Uncle.
Yeah. I think sometimes we misread women. When she's acting up, it is not because she's acting up. She feels neglected. She feels ignored. And she wants the attention. I can tell you that I was shocked. I was shocked when my mother told me that she said it was the biggest thing she wanted my father to do for her, and was very disappointed that my father never did.
From Esther, hey, marriage no be play. Uncle, the distance first before talking.
They did what?
The distance first before talking.
Yes. Yes. It works. It is not easy, but it works. It works. You try it. Try it. First things first. You give him what he wants. After that, talk to him. He will listen. He will be in a much better condition and frame of mind to listen to you.
From Persis Annan, which is most important in a relationship, love or respect?
To a woman, love. To a man, respect.
Pat says, thanks for the advice. But why did your mother want your father to beat her? She really was a gem, though.
The effect of the images in society, the examples you see around you, the effect that it can have on you. For instance, how many people were born smoking? A lot of people picked smoking because it was around them. You talk with some of the people who abuse drugs, who are drug addicts. They were not born that way. They fell into a company, everybody was doing it, and it looked like it was the thing to do. And so they joined in. What is happening around us is so powerful, and it can have very serious effect on you, even more than you know it.
From our YouTube platform, from Amma Echampon. Hello, Uncle. Much love and greetings from Munich. This is Ama Chumwa.
Amma, we've missed you. Hurry up and come back.
Viva says, a woman's intuition, too much a big deal to ignore. And the husband also made it easy for her to submit, like calling her at dawn and saying, I'm sorry, this will never happen again. Any woman will submit to a man like that without any difficulty. Our men now.
I think the point she's making is very important, that you get the kind of woman you create her to be. And when you need to apologize to her, do the apology and don't justify it. Otherwise, she'll give you a holler.
From Kweku on our YouTube channel. Uncle, is it possible to have a quarrel-free relationship?
It is. It is. Just that I would be a bit suspicious of it and ask myself, who is hiding what? But again, if the two of you are emotionally mature, you can address issues and it will never become a quarrel. You can raise issues and resolve them without it ever getting to the point where there is angry exchange of words. So yes, it is possible.
Chris Kote says, never surrender your role to anyone. Wow, this point is powerful. But my pepperdem people will not like this point. Crow. By the way, we can also help when available in preparing the meals, etc. Great lessons you sent there. By the way, I'm sending this message on behalf of my mother, so I'm coming for my gift.
All right, we'll make an exception for you, my man. That's if you are not past the 5. But I like that.
From Francisca. Uncle, please, I agree with you on the acting up by women. I personally do act up to see the end. But unfortunately, most times I end up being hurt altogether. Are there clear tricks for acting up, because some of us are not good at speaking our feelings?
Are there tricks?
Yes.
Just don't act up. Don't act up. It doesn't help you, does it? Yeah, let's go on.
From Prince. Uncle, if your ex tells you, I need you, when she knows you are married, what does it mean? I'm confused.
It means she thinks you're a foolish man. She thinks you're a foolish man. She thinks you will leave your Karen, your wife, your home to attend to her who doesn't mean anything to you. She thinks you're a very foolish man. Show her you are not.
From Zinabu. Should the time and place for fights be decided by both parties, or the wife should decide which time and place will be suitable for her to bring up issues and vice versa?
Well, I think that the person who is offended must choose the time. The one who has the issue must choose the time. You know your partner, and you know when it will be a good time. You know it. So you pick the good time for your partner, not for you, and it will be fine.
Uncle, thanks for today. Great message. We
Thank
the
you.
men promise to always respect and love our babies and do everything in our power to protect them. From Daniel.
Dan, thanks.
Yeah. Uncle, women cannot bring themselves to being intimate when they are angry or sad. How then do they reconcile that?
In here,
Hey.
I understand what you are saying in principle, but sometimes the best way to get him and to own up to his deeds is to let him have his way. Trust me, you can do it. Would you enjoy it? That's a different matter. Would he enjoy it? Yes, he will.
Uncle, the men nowadays are full of pride to even apologize when they are wrong.
That's sad, isn't it? It's a very sad commentary. I hope it is not true. I hope every man listening who heard that one will resolve that I will not be one of those people who can be called too proud to even recognize his faults. I hope would make it not true. But unfortunately for some people, I understand it is true.
From our YouTube channel, Mama B. Thank you, Uncle. Very profound lessons. Uncle, how can you stop yourself from becoming that woman who beats men? I just can't stand nonsense. Your Mama B.
Mama B, I know you can't stand nonsense, and I hope you don't get nonsense. And don't worry, God won't give you a man who will give you nonsense. But if you want to know how to stop the man from giving you nonsense, go and learn karate. And then if he messes up the first time, give him a little demonstration. He will not do it again.
What do you think would have happened if your father had been the one who had gone to catch your mother in the act?
I don't answer hypothetical questions. All I can say is that my mother was not that kind of woman.
Uncle, from Phoebe Kumson on our YouTube channel.
Hey, Phoebe, long time no hear.
Hi, Uncle. Please, what if your father or your dad was the stubborn type? Because there are men who keep repeating their sins. What do you do if he can't stop cheating?
Yeah, that's always a difficult situation, isn't it? In my case, it is wonderful that my father never did that again. But yes, you are right that there are people who do it. You catch them, they apologize, they even cry, ask for forgiveness. You forgive them only for them to do it again. Those people have issues. They have problems. And I hope they get someone who can help them overcome the demons, their inner demons that is destroying them.
Akwesi says, good afternoon, Uncle. What action should be taken instantly when trying to talk to her on solving issues and she gets so aggressive?
Back off. When she gets abrasive, don't meet fire with fire. Otherwise, what is happening is that you are like two drivers driving at high speed on a dangerous road, facing each other and have given each other high light. It will not end well. So back off. There will be always a good time to come back to it. Back off.
Okay, Uncle, let me make specific the general question. Would your advice to a man who finds his wife in the act with another be the same as what your mother did?
Yes, it will be. Yes, it will be. And I would also ask myself, what have I done to contribute to this? You remember I told you at the beginning that there's an advice my mother gave me that I thought was R-rated. Now, let me share it because I'll try to sanitize it as much as possible. So I'll say it in English. Sometimes when you say something that was said to you in the vernacular in English, it sounds decent. So let me say this. My mother said, every husband must know that sebio, the vagina cannot wait. In other words, when you are a man, don't starve your wife of sex. Don't starve your wife of intimacy. You may not like the price you pay for that. The something cannot wait. It cannot wait. So attend to it. That's what she's saying. Attend to it regularly.
All right.
You see why I didn't say it? I'm sure I'm going to be in trouble. People are going to say, hey, did he say that?
No, he didn't. So
No.
His mother said it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uncle, from Joseph on our YouTube channel. Uncle, some ladies will override you if you are patient. How do you stop that?
No, then it's not just, they are not overriding you because you are patient. There are other reasons why they are overriding you. So check the way you relate to them and the way you carry yourself generally. I think the problem is somewhere done other than the fact that you are patient.
Lord says, Uncle, my mom called me this morning saying she has prepared jollof and is taking it to my place. It is a bribe to an expected splendid happy Mother's Day. Meanwhile, me too, I don't have time. Please advise.
No, talk to her. Sometimes men will make a mistake. Women can be very understanding if you give them information. So talk to your mom. Express to her how much you appreciate her, how much you love her. For your mother, that may be all she wants. And then promise her that I will get you this when I get some money. And for your mother, that will be enough. So enjoy the jollof. We have a jollof fan in here. I wish you could invite him to join me. Oh, but better your mother sending you the jollof than your ex.
Kosi P says, Uncle, is there any law in Ghana that someone can base on to sue a man who is chasing your wife or woman or man?
I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. I don't know if there's any law. But why do you want to sue him? Why do you want to sue the other person instead of raising your game? Listen, you can raise your game to the point that nobody can touch your wife. Nobody can touch your husband. You can raise your game. Raise it so that everybody will look ordinary or will look like a nuisance. Raise your game. Raise your game. Raise your game.
Ekia, Uncle, is it right for your boyfriend to give his baby mama a gift on Mother's Day?
Should he do it? I'm running away from is it right? Should he do it? No, he shouldn't. Listen, ladies, if your children are not old enough to wish you Happy Mother's Day and give you gifts for your being a mother, don't demand it from the man in your life. Like I have said, don't expect your husband to say to you Happy Mother's Day. And men, don't do it. Because, hey, Happy Mother's Day. So you've been sleeping with your mother. The implications are, and some of them, they say, oh, do it on behalf of the children. The children are not old enough. You haven't earned the title of how good a mother you can be. Wait, when they grow up, they will wish you Happy Mother's Day. Now, I can see some women going, I thought I liked him. Oh, look at him.
Now, Uncle says, Uncle, please, what can I do when men think I am selfish because I do not ask them for money?
Oh, now I hope you would soon find men who would appreciate that, who appreciate you. You are not selfish. You want to be independent. You want to be self-respecting. You want your dignity. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
From Gideon on our YouTube channel. Hi, Uncle. This is fantastic. Please, becoming the best of yourself. Do you need to work on your temperaments to fit your relationship?
You need to. Your temperament, what can you do with your temperament? Your temperament is not the enemy. Your temper is, not the temperament. So educate yourself on your temperament and learn to operate in your best, in your strongest points. And don't worry about your weak points.
Valerie says, oh, danger, spoiling plans.
Oh.
Don't worry, there will be a time. The children will grow. Valerie, the child will grow and celebrate you as a mother. Just continue being the wonderful mother that you are.
And Esther says, my inside,
Uncle.
My apologies. My apologies to all the ladies there whose heart are broken. I apologize. Well,
some people won't see this video.
I realize that some women would edit the latter part before they send it to their men. But please, let's be real. Let's be real. And sometimes we put so much pressure. I came to this decision because there was a beautiful marriage that was being messed up. Their oldest child was 3, and the youngest was just a toddler. And the woman was upset with the man because Mother's Day, he had not wished her happy Mother's Day. And it marred the whole atmosphere in the house. And when he came to me, I pleaded with her and said, wait, the children will grow. When they grow, they will celebrate you. Mother's Day is going nowhere. 3 years, yes, giving birth made you a mother, but raise them. Then you would have earned a good mother. So I'm sorry if I've let anybody down, but the men, is it not freedom? Oh, it also means that on Father's Day, they don't have to wish you happy Father's Day. So, well, I'd like to thank you very much for staying with me. I hope you've enjoyed this. And once again, as someone who is someone's child, and on behalf of all children in the world, which is every human being because we were all born, some of us, it's surprising to believe that they were born. But on behalf of everybody, I say Happy Mother's Day to all mothers. And remember, those within the 5-5, I think the office will communicate to you, and then you'll be informed when your gift of Mr. Kitchen Spice will get to you. Well, until we meet again, stay blessed and keep being the best you can be. Oh, by the way, my next play is ready. The title is The Woman in the Bathroom. We'll give you more details from next week. Stay blessed. Hello. They call me Uncle WHYTE. I am the CEO of Roman Productions, but I'm also very much committed to helping you become your